Pauline Hansen's my fault.
Yeah, Pauline Hansen is your fault.
You know who Pauline Hansen is the fault of every other politician who is not dealing with the people of Australia with respect. What do you think? Well, you're the millennial. Do millennials like her?
I don't know if people actually like Pauline as more they hate everybody else.
Yeah, well, that's not enough reason to vote for her.
Well, it is when what you're being offered is so bad.
You think she'll still be successful in the Victorian and federal elections?
It's a little hard to tell how much of the media pylon will be effective. I mean, Barnaby telling off his dog isn't a story.
Oh, yes, it is. Every woman in Australia will react to that. Not because he's telling off the dog with that flash of anger. And I can understand why, but he lost control when he shouted at the dog.
I'm not saying it's a good look by any stretch, but I mean, before that, you had all these stories about Pauline Hansen supporting white Australia, and it just wasn't the case at all. She was responding to a question of why there's kind of more people with different ethnic backgrounds in Australia. And she said, well, because the white Australia policy got ditched, which is technically correct. And then they've beaten it up and almost saying, well, she's supporting white Australia.
What she said about domestic violence being a two-way street and how that was not as bad as it came across.
You know, people just read headlines more than stories. The headline is awful. When you dive into what she's actually saying, it doesn't seem anywhere near as bad. What she's saying is that women can also abuse men. But that's not how it comes across, and that's why there was a pylon. All politicians need to be aware of what they could say in a soundbite, but the problem is some of them get so restricted by that they end up not saying anything, and you get someone like Albo.
Well, that's true. But she's been there 20 years in politics. She should, most of it in Parliament, she should understand the dangerous nature of words. She should understand that she has to be, not for political reasons, for reasons of decency. You've got to be more careful with what you say.
Pauline's problems is why we have to record a little bit extra here. Now we can go back to a bit of a costume change.
Pauline will say something silly every couple of days. No, controversial. And be misrepresented.
There you go.
There is a pylon to One Nation and Pauline Hansen that's appearing through all the media. The National and Liberal Party have woken up to it. Labor's woken up to their danger. And I think there's a chance that the more they go after Pauline Hansen, the stronger she gets.
If you go and look at it, so you've seen the White Australia comments, for example. If you then go and look them up yourself, then you go, oh, well, she's actually just talking about it almost academically in a sense of saying, well, the reason for this situation is because this rule changed.
But it's not all media fault. I agree with a lot of what you're saying there, but it's not all the media's fault. Pauline is accident prone.
Oh, she's clumsy.
Well, yeah.
But in her language, well, what she's saying...
What did her daughter say? She was not very eloquent. That's being nice about it. She's got great slogans, a very simple philosophy, and that's not a bad thing. She has targeted areas that the public is concerned about, but she's got no depth. There are no policies. There are no answers. Now, that's not a media pylon. That's my view.
But she does have policies. Look at the website. She's got more policies than the state.
Have you read them? We will provide free housing. They're not policies. They're slogans. I've been through them.
How is that any different to any of the other political parties?
It probably isn't. It probably isn't. But
then why are you holding her to a higher standard?
Because they can at least if you sat Angus Taylor down here or Elbow, at least they'd have an explanation of what they were trying to do.
What are you, Elbow's explanations of nonsense?
Well, if you ask about Kylie Minogue, it's all right.
Is Kylie Minogue hot?
I'm not here to answer questions. I know what he should have said. He should have said, oh, come on, I'm not going to talk about that. That's silly. That's offensive to Kylie. That's offensive to every woman. Nor am I going to talk about how I have sex with my wife after the football, which he did.
What is going on? He's your mate.
I know him pretty well. I used to know him. He's changed since he's been Prime Minister.
What is going on in his head to think that that's an appropriate thing to say, really? Is he just trying to be cool and connect with my generation?
Yeah, I think he was trying to be the cool kid. And I think the interviewer, whose name escapes me, the comedian who interviewed him at the lodge, imagine inviting her into the lodge.
Don't be jealous.
I think she, well, yeah, it's true. I think she relaxed him very well. And he didn't think well on his feet. There were two mistakes there. One, his minder shouldn't have let it happen. And second, he should have been astute enough to avoid the question. He avoids questions about cost of living, he can avoid questions about whether he fancies Kylie Minogue, surely.
I was just so disappointed that people are saying, oh, well, it's not a big deal, and other people saying, oh, it's a huge deal. I think it comes down to judgment. If that is the judgment of the person in control of the country, that it's either okay or it was always going to cause problems, really.
So your criticism is not what he said, but the fact that it shows a lack of awareness and judgment.
Yep.
That's a fair point.
Question without notice.
And these really are questions without notice. I've got no idea what you're going to raise.
Why are boomers so angry on the roads?
Because all you millennials are driving in front. You're right. You're right. I really don't know. Boomer women.
Get mum on the phone.
Well, she doesn't drive much these days. But you're right. There's a level of aggression. Why? What is it? Is it a sense of entitlement? Is it a lack of awareness? Is it the fact that the roads are much more aggressive than they ever were? And it's not just boomers; it's everybody. What have you seen?
I think it's because the roads are so busy. I think that's part of it. I think that maybe there might be a little bit of an age thing where there's a frustration coming from your own, like you guys are aging out a bit. There might be some frustrations in sight and everything, but you grew up on roads that weren't anywhere near as busy.
Yeah, but cars that took 20 minutes to stop when you hit the brakes.
Sure, but the things that you were used to doing, so maybe turning out and certain things or parking, it didn't matter so much. Whereas now there's so many people around, there's that kind of heightened tension. And I think that boomers might not be keeping up all that well.
I think millennials don't know how to drive.
Why do all boomers seem to want to police everything all the time? Like on the roads, like, oh no, this person didn't wave or this person didn't do that. Why are you guys policing everything?
Because you can't drive a car unless it beeps at you. You pull into traffic, oh, it didn't beep. It didn't warn me. I can't get a parking spot unless I've got a camera on the back. You really can't.
But why do you think the aggression exists? Do you really think it's boomer women?
No. I think...
You sure?
Look, it might be changing circumstance. It might be senses degenerating. It might be a nervousness. There's certainly more aggression from everybody, and I've seen boomers react badly if they're getting aggression from another driver, regardless of their age. There used to be a real prejudice years ago against P-platers. All P-platers were idiots. Does that still exist?
Of course.
Does it? They are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they are. They don't know.
We still don't teach people how to drive.
I got abused by a boomer woman the other day who made the mistake herself on the road and then got angry at me. And I was sitting there thinking to myself, what? This woman should know better than to be aggressive towards a younger male. Like, what is she doing?
Silly. Oh, it's pretty dangerous. It can be very, very dangerous. I don't know. Look, what do you want to do? Do you want to have more driving tests, automatic driving tests annually over the age of 70 or something like that?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I'm afraid I agree with you. Well, I wouldn't make it 70. I might make it 75. I saw a 90-year-old man who had his licence renewed for 10 years.
For 10 years here?
Yes.
Wow.
In Victoria. I don't think they do that now. It's only a couple of years ago. And he said, I don't want to drive. But you need to be dobbed in if you're an incompetent driver now. Or you need to be astute enough to say, I'm going to test myself and get somebody to test you. They'll send somebody out and they'll drive around with you and see if they survive.
But see, there's not a single boomer now that can be trusted up a ladder, right? They say, what is it, over 60 or something? So if you can't be trusted up a ladder, I think maybe we should be checking to see you can be trusted behind the wheel.
That's a different matter. The ladder issue is balance.
Aging's not an easy thing to comprehend.
You're telling me? My question without notice. Do you honour the flag, Australian flag?
No, don't care.
You don't care?
No.
There's pressure. The debate's back. Should we change the flag? Get the Union Jack off it.
There are so many more important things to talk about and deal with in life. I couldn't care less what the flag looks like.
Really?
Yep.
If you're going to replace it, what would it be? Kangaroo?
As I said, I do not care. I think there are just more important things in the world. I'm more worried about the cost of living issues than what the bloody flag looks like.
Yeah, but like Lyndon Johnson, you can walk and chew gum. I mean, you can think about more than one. Cost of living is a huge issue. Don't disagree. The flag, to a lot of people, is important. That's the reason, quite serious, the reason I ask. I think the older generation feels more loyalty to the flag. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Your mates wouldn't care?
No. Because it's the activist types making noise about it, and that's, I think, part of the reason why people don't care. It's like, oh, what are the silly activists online talking about this week? I just turn off. Just swipe next.
What about, because this came from one of the unions at the ALP conference. You know, the flag should be changed and we should get rid of all our colonial statues. What do you think about that?
See, this is what I mean. Is people
Captain
just
Cook and everybody else.
yeah, they're just creating busy work for themselves. They're struggling to be relevant and show how virtuous they are. Who cares?
But you don't care about the statues either. You don't care if we chop them down, do you?
I don't think that we should be ashamed of our history. I think we need to learn from it. And this idea of, oh, we've got to hide it or destroy our history, that's just dumb.
So going back to the flag, does the Union Jack matter? It's very British, it's part of our history, but does it matter? Would it be better if it wasn't there?
As long as we're part of the Commonwealth, keep it there, as far as I'm concerned.
But the Commonwealth's sort of almost irrelevant, isn't it?
If we became a republic, then I'd say change the flag.
Do you want to be a republic?
No. I don't want to change the system because look at the ones that are currently in charge of the system. Imagine President Albo, for heaven's sake.
I agree to this extent. I don't think we've got the model right. I would like us to be a republic, but only if we get the right model. And the problem is, who's got the power, the president or the prime minister? And if the president's elected, you've got to immediately battle with the prime minister. If he's appointed, has he got the power that's the problem. That is the problem, the appointment. But I'd like to see us be a republic.
We've just been talking about the people that are in charge not being worthy of being voted for. And now you're saying, well, let's create another person that should be voted for? Really?